I completely concur with that. I believe Pasha would probably concur with that too, sir.
Okay.
Should actually ask the race and should ask the President Pasha.
I mean, it is the way it is now. The way it is now, it does not read as a civil law which is there for the protection of the business, and it is a penal law to take care of crimes and so on, and therefore it reflects very negatively on the businessman who has to rot in jail without a non-bailable offence, where the offence to me is a white collar type of crime. Terroristic को आप छोड़ दें, बाकी चीजों के लिए if he is not bailable, I don't know why such things are being done. So it's against the state.
One example, one hypothetical example.
इसमें ज़्यादातर तो नॉन वेरिएबल ही है, मतलब 7 years and above is नॉन वेरिएबल, और वो डेटा इंटरफियरेंस वगैरह के लिए भी आ जाएगा.
There are only just a second. There are only two crimes mentioned in this law. Number one, cyber terrorism. Number two, cyber stalking. And if you do it if somebody does it with some mind. And number three is if somebody commits some crime with sensitive information. These three crimes are non-bailable. All the rest of the crimes are bailable. So this perception is wrong.
Cyber stalking could be anything.
Part of cyber
Anything.
If you do it with minors.
ठीक है.
With minors.
Cyber
terrorism.
terrorism. And
Three crimes committed with sensitive information.
ठीक है. Zahid, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say an example was probably being asked for. How does this legislation actually create problems for the business? Just one example, spamming, cyber stalking, spoofing and cyber stalking, and cyber terrorism. These are three examples of the legislation which are going to find every business in trouble. So I think that's what I'm trying to do. This point here. Yeah.
तो बताइए ना सर.
So basically, if you look at the definition and but before I move on, let me just make one. I want to just understand what has the issue of the cybercrime prevention been resolved? Are we now just minuting what everybody has said and moving on?
Yeah, at this point in time, we are just minuting what everybody is saying on, video minuting. We have a video camera here. So, okay, good point. Let's lay issues to rest before we move on to that. Anu sahab, आपने इस वक्त cybercrime prevention में कुछ और कहना है?
This law is aligned with cybercrime convention as much as it is possible while remaining in our own criminal jurisdiction of the country.
ठीक है, for the record, अनवर साहब ने अपना नज़रिया बता दिया और आपने
In principle,
आपने पेपर में बात की थी कि हर लॉ जो होता है ना
ऑन कर देना
जी, every law की अपनी डेफिनेशन होती है, हर लॉ के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में चीजें डिफाइन होती हैं. तो व्हाई डू यू नीड टू, अभी आप कह रहे हैं कि ये हम जितना बाकी लॉज को देखते हुए कर सकते थे, बट आप इसकी तो अपनी डेफिनेशंस को क्रिएट कर सकते थे ना. बिकॉज आपने शुरू में कहा कंपनीज ऑर्डिनेंस 84 एक डेफिनेशन देता है, फेयर ना, बट आपकी यही एग्जाम्पल थी ना कि कंपनीज ऑर्डिनेंस 1984 एक तरीके से कंपनीज डिफाइन करता है, बट जो टेलीकम्युनिकेशन एक्ट, but fair enough, but it does, how does it preclude you? This is something that we want to understand. How does it set society you cannot follow it in more letter and spirit, and all the safeguards that are allowed in the convention are not built into this law? I mean, how do you justify that?
We have followed it.
नहीं, safeguard तो इसमें सर safeguard दिखा देना मुझे.
एक सेकंड ऑफ कर. देखिए अनवर साहब का नजरिया है कि he has to balance the cybercrime convention and Pakistan's requirements, and he has done that as much as is possible. That's his perspective. Salman Ansari, Awais, Ashraf and Zahid Jameel have expressed their opinion that they feel this is substantively non-compliant to the cybercrime convention. Is that correct, Zahid?
Absolutely correct.
And one thing more,
electronic fraud may be not
legally, we are not bound.
Yes. I think everybody is agreed that there is no legal binding here. It is just a question of what should the objective be and should we comply or not. Well, that is taken for the record.
Let me clarify something, sir. We have to comply with this because it is part of the recommendations and resolutions passed by the ITU, and we are signatory to the ITU.
So are you saying that ITU is now asking just clarify your statement. Are you saying this is a legal requirement on the government of Pakistan to be a signatory to the Cybercrime Convention because of ITU?
It is a legal requirement to signatories of the ITU to follow basically the recommendations and resolutions of the ITU. Rather the recommendation resolution, not a binding convention or treaty, but recommendation of the ITU is that the Council of Europe Cybercrime Convention should be used as a guideline for all legislation with regard to cybercrime. Pakistan is favored to do so. Pakistan is signatory to the ITU, and Pakistan should, doesn't have to, but should, under international law, follow the resolutions passed by the ITU. They do follow those resolutions under other things, under spectrum, under bandwidth, other aspects. Why should they not follow it in this?
Zaid, is there any example of an ITU resolution that Pakistan has not followed?
No, sir, I don't know of any.
Okay, fine, thank you. Now we have a new entrant, Mr. Tariq Badshah, member IT, and he'd like to say a few words.
Excuse me, just like to seek clarification. I believe that was Zaid on the other line.
Yeah.
Which particular document are you referring to where we are obligated to be signatories to the Budapest Convention? Because to my knowledge, or even where you say that we should.
Okay, Zaid, you heard the question. Mr. Tariq Badshah once again is asking, can you explain why you feel being a signatory to the Budapest Convention is a legal requirement for the government of Pakistan? So if you can just repeat what you just said again.
I'm not saying it's a legal requirement under international law. When recommendations come from the UN and etc., they're not legally binding on Pakistan either. We can make the same thing. There's a Security Council resolution, but that has no legal effect on Pakistan either. But that would basically be equivalent to us turning out saying we're signatories to different conventions and international treaties. But because we don't have to necessarily apply it to local law, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go away from it. That is a bad practice, and that is not the practice that the government of Pakistan and the policy adopts the policy of following international best practices. And let me clarify on the legal point. We are a member of the ITU. ITU committees do pass resolutions and which become best practices which are followed by the PTA, for instance. Okay, how do they do it? They do it because in the same manner they have to follow it. Today, if we are going to make a legislation, this legislation is going to be there for the next 20, 30 years, then can you imagine the trouble we're going to have when we actually want to do in the only convention in the world to join when Pakistan wants to ratify and accede to the Cybercrime Convention? This is not going to happen. So my question basically actually comes down to like this. And that is just a point. Why is there a thought or a view that Pakistan should not tomorrow be able to accede to the Cybercrime Convention?
अच्छा Zaid, मेरा response ये है कि if I understood member IT's question correctly, there are two arguments to comply with, align with, and be signatory to the Budapest Convention. There are two arguments. One argument is it makes sense. It's in the best national interest because we got to align with the international conventions so only also for that's fine. That argument has been made. The second argument is because it's a legal requirement. And member IT wanted not A is off the table. I think most of the participants here are agreed. All are agreed कि उसमें उसका part होना चाहिए और it's in the best national interest. Director Legal ने बताया है कि listen, I read it, I'm complying with it as much as is possible given the Pakistan circumstances. The other speakers disagreed with that. They said no, we are not substantially compliant. That's off the table. We are only discussing one simple question now, which is member IT's question. Is there a legal requirement, yes or no? And if there is if there is a legal requirement, what is it? And if it is not a legal requirement, then state that clearly.
The answer